each wire, and now we have our pins at the end. You guys, I can't believe that we got this harness working for only $15. Stick along for the video. I will show you how to make your own. Hey guys, it's your boy Alec coming to you with a new video. Behind me is my 2020 F-150 5-liter with a twin turbo kit on it, and today we're going to be installing the Raptor steering wheel, and we are also going to get the paddle shifters on the back working without using the $175 harness. Let's get right into the video. All right, so most of my F-150 people have heard of installing a Raptor wheel on the regular cab or any vehicle, any F-150 that did not originally come with one. But we're going to be doing it without using the boosted Grey Goose $175 harness to get the paddles working. I'm going to show you how I do this and how we achieve that, because there's not a ton of information out on the internet, and there's also not a single video on YouTube installing this and getting the paddles working without using that harness. So I paid basically about the price of that harness for this wheel, and so I do not want to spend another $175 for one wiring harness. All right guys, so to complete the steering wheel swap, you're going to need two things aside from the steering wheel. You're going to need a set of Motorcraft pins, and the part number is WT-1001. You can get these on Amazon. I will leave it linked in the description below. But you need these pins because they have the pin that you're going to put into one of the connectors. So we need 3 of these. They come in a pack of 5, so we're good here. And then I picked up, got some of this wire from Amazon as well. What's nice is there's multiple colors and that kind of thing. So I'll leave this in the description below as well. We're going to use the green, yellow, and the blue for making our harness here. So first things first, we're going to get these connected to the ends of the wires here. We're going to use some of these solder shrink connectors. If you guys want to solder it by hand, that's fine too. I like these connectors. This is not mission critical or anything like that. So these are the 3 things that I'm going to use. We've got the wire, the pins, and the connectors. If you want any of this, it'll be in the description below. I'm going to work on soldering some leads onto the end of this after I figure out how long my little wiring harness needs to be. And then we will go inside the truck. And the last thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to tap into the factory wires. The first things first, we're going to get the old Dungy factory steering wheel out of this thing. Of course, this truck is a base model XL. You can't really get a regular cab fitted out or optioned out much higher than that. So we are going to get this non-leather foam steering wheel out of here. So the first things first, let's get the shroud off the back, get the bag out, and then we should be able to get to the connectors underneath there. We're gonna have to swap over our buttons because this truck does not have the steering wheel sensitivity button, and so we're going to swap those out, put our buttons on. Our buttons are in a little better shape than these ones, got a little bit of weird stuff on them. So swap the buttons out, and then we will install the wheel. All right, so let's get into removing this airbag right here. First things first, go disconnect your battery, and also make sure that your SRS module has the capacitance drained out of it. I guess these have the ability, even with the battery cable, to still blow up an airbag without it connected because they have a capacitor inside that SRS module. So make sure you take care of that. We're going to get into removing this airbag. You can see we got these holes on the side. We're going to stick a Allen wrench into the holes on each side, and that will allow us to basically push over a fork, and then the airbag can come out. So I got my set of Allens right here. All right, so I ended up using a 3mm Allen. That's the biggest size I could get in there, that reached all the way through. So you can see right there, that's where the Allen is going into the wheel, and it is pushing over on this pin right here, and that is what releases the airbag. Now we have the horn connector, which is the red connector, and you can also see it connected to the wheel right here. So we got the horn connector, and then we got the 2 airbag connectors that we need to undo. So we got our airbag out. These do not twist off. You just put a tiny little screwdriver in between the orange piece and the yellow connector. They're also color coded, so you can't screw that up. Next, we need to disconnect this wiring harness back in here that goes into the clock spring right there. And then after that, we are going to take a 24mm, bust that guy loose with the impact real quick. Got the old Milwaukee stubby over here. There's our bolt. You can see I now have the wheel mostly disconnected. I gotta use my second hand to get that guy taken care of. All right, if you gotta swap your buttons like me, the best thing you can do is pull up on this piece right here and then take a really tiny screwdriver and pry underneath the trim areas right here on all 4 corners. Once you start to pull this back, there's going to be a gray connector on this side and a black connector over here to disconnect from the button housings, and then this is going to come out. You can see it has these pegs right here that kind of have a little barb to them, and they go into the foam right there. So you're not going to break any clips or anything like that prying up on it. You can see 3 of the pegs down here at the bottom and the 3 holes that they go into. So get that up, and then we're going to need a small Phillips head to take off the button that we need on the back side here. All right, so when we're looking at taking these buttons apart, we also need a really small Torx bit up there to take off the 1, 2, 3, 4 black screws, and then that will take this assembly apart so that we can get it out of here. I also want to mention that this is how the steering paddles work. The 4th pin over is a blue wire with a red line. That one is for the upshift. There's a green right next to it with a black wire with a red line in the 5th one, and that is the common. And then there is a black wire with a blue line in the 4th one from the left, and that's the downshift. So those are all pinned in this one. You can see that they are not pinned in this one, which is our factory wiring harness over here. So you might be wondering, what does that matter? Well, you can see our clock spring has all the pins that it needs. So you already have the correct clock spring in the truck. We just need to then take the back side of the clock spring and then tie it into these buttons underneath the steering column, which I will show you here in a second. All right, guys, so I got my steering column shroud apart, and so this is where our wheel is going to plug in right here. And on the back side of this guy, there is this connector, and it plugs into right about back in here where my finger is, where my middle finger is moving. And so this guy plugs into the back of there. And you can see we have empty pins on the top left. And so we're going to add 3 pins into that with the harness ends that I told you to order in the beginning. The Motorcraft additional pins. And then down here, you can see I'm going to reference this for them. We're going to use pin 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to tie in the pins that we add up here to the wires down here. So this is only for column shift trucks. If you have the shifter in the center, this is not how you're going to do it because you don't have this, because you don't have the column shift. Your connector to tie into is underneath the glove box. So with that being said, you can see this is where the connector normally resides, and this connector resides back in here. So that's where that one is. We'll get that out, add our 3 pins into here, and then we're going to tap into our 3 wires down here. So I will pull up real quick what the 3 pins look like on the connector that connects to the clock spring. You can see right here is that connector with the 3 wires that we're going to add in to pin this. Alrighty guys, sorry it got dark on me, and we are using the old flashlight to show you this thing installed, but that is a huge difference. You can see we got the buttons swapped out for our factory buttons over on the right side. We kept the buttons on the left side because they were in better shape than my factory wheel. But this thing it feels like insane in the hands. It feels really good. The paddles are like a mechanical feel, so they feel amazing. If you never had a Raptor wheel in your hands before, they are the best wheel that you can hold. We still have the bottom down here apart because I have not gotten a chance to wire in the paddles just yet, but we're going to get to that next. So we're in here and you can just barely see on these, on the right hand side of the screen is a 1 on there, and then on the left is a 7 on that first row right there. So number 3, which is the gray one in the 3rd position, is our shift up. Number 4 is green with a purple line. That one is shift down, and the yellow is the common, the yellow with the purple. So 3, 4, and 5 right here in the center are the ones we're going to be messing with. Gray, green and purple, and yellow and purple. Those are the ones that we need to tap into. So 3, 4, and 5. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that wire, and we are going to basically splice them back together with one of these guys hanging out of it. And then we will bring that up to the connector up in here on the back side of the clock spring, and we will pin them into this guy. So I know it's a little daunting, but strip back a little bit of this cloth tape and get those guys landed in there. I'm going to use the solder shrink connectors I told you guys about before. All right, you can see I'm basically 1/3 of the way done here. So I clipped that gray wire, started with our upshift first. So clipped the gray wire, added in 2 solder shrink connectors and about, let's see, 3 inches or so of wire. And then put those 2 together and put in our green WT 1001. And this is the guy that we are going to land into this connector up here that goes in the clock spring. So we're done with 1 of the 3, and now we just got to do the pin 4 and pin 5 for our downshift and our common, and then we will be all good to land these wires, and we are done. This is actually not that difficult to do. I do just want to take a moment to say, if you do watch this video and you're like, nah, I'm just going to spend the 175 bucks on the harness from Boosted Grey Goose, hey, that's fine. I'm not trying to take business away from him if you are the person that just wants plug and play. Now, the thing is, you are still going to have to land these 3 pins into the back of the clock spring, no matter if you buy his harness or not. The only thing that his harness provides is it provides this connector and this connector down here, so that you don't have to splice your factory wires. Now, if that's worth 175 bucks to you, that's fine. If it's not, that's why you're watching this video right here. All right, guys, here we are about 10 minutes later, some shrinking together. I got our blue, which is originally the gray wire. We got our green, which is the green and purple, and we got our yellow, which is our yellow and purple. I ended up using 9 solder shrink connectors together. I used about 3 inches of each wire, and now we have our pins at the end. So the nice thing is we can now plug this guy back into his home down at the bottom, and then we are going to wrap some of this with some electrical tape, and then we will land it in our connector right here, and we will be all done. All right, so you can see here we got our 3 wires pinned in. Downshift, upshift, and common from right to left in here. Now, I will tell you, if you do land any of these in the incorrect spot, you can take this white plug kind of cap looking thing off, and then you can see where these go down into these little teeth. That's where you need to push down or up, depending on which side of the connector you're on with the little pick. I was using like a, honestly, ask your dentist if they got any broken picks that they will give you. I was using one of these guys, get it down in there, and because I did screw up one of these pins, landed it in the wrong spot, but we got it now, so they're all right, so we can put this guy back on there. But just in case you do screw it up, you don't have to go cutting wires, you can just pull those pins back out. So that guy's back on there. I'm going to put a little zip tie action in here just to zip tie it up, and then we can plug this back on and put our center guy back together. Well, here we are with the wheel all done, and I'm super excited to go rip this thing, try out the paddle shifters. Alrighty guys, well, we're driving along here, and we do have the paddle shifters functioning, and they're working very well. You can see we got our gear selection pulled up on the right hand side, and so if I hit the up one, it goes away. If I hit the down one, it comes back. You can see I can downshift this thing, put it in 7th, 6th, 5. Make all the good noises I want. When I want it shut up, let her come back up into the gears where she should be. Put in tow haul, then the truck starts downshift for us automatically. We're an M4. It'll downshift for us. Come up here to the stop sign. You can see it drop down there to 1. And now we'll go to accelerate. Still in 1. Yeah, that's a blast. On the downshift, when I went from 2nd to 1st, it spooled up there. It got the RPM up high enough. It spooled the turbos as it was coming down.
I heard that too.
That is insane. Alrighty guys, well you saw us using the paddle shifters on the steering wheel, and I've been using them for a couple weeks now. I've been really enjoying it. It is definitely worth the upgrade and the effort. Go use these pins. Go make yourself a new harness. If you guys enjoyed the content, please make sure you leave a like down below and consider subscribing. We got plenty of racing and building content going on with this F-150 as well as my other projects. Until I see you guys next time, peace.